every time that I do a post about a parasite cleanse, whether it's a video or just a regular post, I will always get one or sometimes two people that will comment underneath that post or that video, do I need to use a binder with that? All right, if you have never been here before, this is a place to heal. My name is Marie. I am a naturopath. I am a detoxification specialist, an herbalist, and a massage therapist. If you're ever looking for any of my creations, my tinctures, anything whatsoever, you can go find those at a placetoheal.store, or I always add links underneath all my videos. All right, so let's get into this. I am not ashamed to say that every time I see that, I just have to cringe. Okay, so what is a binder and why are people asking about it? All right, so a binder, and I'm going to read the actual description of what a binder is. A binder is said to bind to toxins and help your body remove them. When it comes to parasite cleanses, many people claim that when the parasites are dying off, they release a bunch of toxins that your body can reabsorb if you don't use binders to trap them. But from what I have seen, there is no science behind this. None at all. Okay, I'm going to have to agree with that. So when you're, first of all, the first thing I want you to remember is a lot of people, when they're doing parasite cleanses, they have this mentality that they have this little vision, if you will, in their heads of all these parasites dying. And then all of a sudden, they all like gather together in a bunch. And then you have to take these binders in order to help them, move them out. Okay, this is not even close to what the truth is. Okay, so most of the parasite cleanses out there, whether it's a liquid, whether it's diatomaceous earth, whether you're using, a prescription one, I don't care what it is. Okay, anything that you use, a tincture, no matter the brand, what it normally does is it will either dehydrate the parasite by removing its source of food. It will dehydrate them by the removal of the carbohydrates or, the sugars, and it will completely dehydrate them. So it's already kind of dehydrating you. So keep that in mind. And the second thing that it does is, if you've ever seen it underneath a microscope, it literally, there's almost like an explosion. It's like, it just mutilates them. It's almost like a bomb going off and all these toxins just disperse. Or if you're dealing with stuff like diatomaceous earth, it's a fossil. And what it does is it kind of cuts the parasite into very tiny pieces. So one way or another, it's mutilating that parasite body. Okay, very seldom. I know there's people that will attest to this. Sometimes, they kind of slip past the bomb or slip past the slicing, and they do come out, okay, all in one piece, or sometimes they even come out alive. It's a little bit on the more rare side, but it does happen. Okay, so a lot of them will what I call carcasses, right? So people will send me pictures, and yes, I look at pictures of poop all day. I've been doing it for years. It doesn't bother me. I'm not one of those. So they show me the pictures, and all you can see is just the mucus, which a lot of people call mucoid plaque. I do not believe in mucoid plaque. That's parasitic plaque. Okay, this is the mucus that the parasites create. And usually they're surrounding the parasite. So normally when I see these pictures and they come in my inbox, whatever, they pass them, you will actually see the worm, and then they will be surrounded by the plaque. Or you'll see the feces with all the eggs in it and surrounded by the plaque, because they create this plaque. The way I've always seen it is, when you're dealing with the colon, let me put this down here. When you're dealing with the colon, you have, let's say, the colon, and picture like a tornado. Okay, and that's how they start building that mucus, It's almost like a spider, building a spider web. Okay, and that's where they lay all their eggs and stuff. So they're usually close to that because that's, where their offspring are. So you will see that come out, and a lot of people are like, oh, you're passing parts of your colon. You're not passing parts of your colon. You're passing all the mucoid junk that these worms, these parasites have built around them. Okay, I've noticed that most of the ones that are in the liver, what they do is they lay the eggs within the stones and within the cholesterol and within the fat that is in the liver. Okay, so we're going to try to take these parasites out, and then they will tell you that you need a binder. Binders are things like activated charcoal, which is to firm loose stools. Keep that in mind. Okay, you have bentonite clay, which is a clay, and clays are always very, very drying. Okay, there's zeolite powders. Powders are also very dry. There's fiber from barley, oats, wheat bran, alfalfa, flax, chia, and gargum. All of these are expanding. If you ever think of chia and you add them to water, think of how they expand. Okay, the same with barley and the same with oats. Once you add water to them, they expand. Okay, the next one is chlorella powder, okay, which is a powder. It's very drying. Then you have humic and fulvic acid, which is a byproduct of the decomposition of organic matter by microorganisms. I want you to think of that, okay? What decomposition of matter looks like in your backyard. Okay, so now they're asking you, when you're trying to move these parasites out, which is crazy because they're trying to insinuate that your body is not intelligent enough to be able to move toxins out. Okay, so unless you're starting out with a very high level of toxins, okay, and you're almost septic, your body is going to know. Sorry about the change in light because I have a huge skylight right up above me. What's happening is, you're not going to have issue. Your body is smart enough to do that. Okay, so what I normally tell people is, if you're going to do a parasite cleanse, number one, you better be sure that your colon is healthy enough and moving enough, okay, where you know that you're going regularly, okay? You're going 2 to 3 times a day, not just once, 2 to 3 times a day, you are moving, okay? Your fecal matter should be at least a foot long, and it should be well formed and everything else. You should not be, having diarrhea or not. If that is, you're not moving normally. Because a lot of people say, oh no, I do go regularly. Not healthy. Okay. Second of all, if that is not the case, then you should be doing enemas every single day of a parasite cleanse. If you're on that parasite cleanse for 21 days, you should be doing enemas for 21 days to escort all those toxins out. Okay, because the minute that you use a binder, if you have fecal matter that has not moved, if you have any kind of anything that is blocking that, okay, and you have that, and then all of a sudden you have all this bacteria up behind it and it gets stuck, that's when you're having the horrible nightmares and headaches and sweating, and you feel like you've been ran over by a bus. Okay, those toxins are too high, and you do need to get them out. Not with a binder. Binders, as I said, are drying. Years and years ago, I went to go see Gallagher. I'm probably going to age myself here. I went to go see Gallagher, and he said, don't ever buy a condominium because they're telling you right to your face, it's a condominium. They are conning you into buying an apartment. Okay, I'm going to say the same thing about binders. Bind. They're already telling you what they bind you. They don't bind to the parasites. That's ridiculous. They don't bind. There's no science behind that. And there's like no electrical charge. There's no opposites. There's no positives and negatives when it comes to that. Okay, so yes, I know there's some of you that are going to come and go, yeah, there are a few here on this list that do have some positive and negative, especially bentonite clay, but that's not the way it works with parasites. Okay, so bentonite clay by itself is awesome if you're going to soak your feet, if you're going to put it on your face to pull out those types of toxins, or you're pulling out different types of toxins or heavy metals like chlorella or humic and fulvic. You're pulling out metals. But these binders you should be using before the parasite cleanse, not during, because they are actually more dangerous when you take them with parasite cleanses, because it can cause more problems. It can cause constipation. It can cause dehydration. It can cause deficiencies, okay, especially dehydration. I've had, I really stand behind my parasite cleanse, all my products, but really behind my parasite cleanse. So when people contact me, and I do get contacted a lot, they're like, Marie, I'm on like day 10 of your parasite cleanse, and I am so constipated. I don't even know, everything has shut down. Okay, so the first thing I know is, well, you weren't really going before. And number two, you're not assisting taking that junk out, okay? Because the parasites are going to die, the toxins are going to build, the liver is going to process them, the liver is going to dump them into your colon. Okay, once they're dumped into the colon, because the liver has to detoxify everything, it's going to dump into the colon. Once they hit your colon, here comes the headaches. Here comes, everything else, because the ammonia is going to start to rise. You're going to start feeling crappy. So the next thing that happens is it's going to have to be filtered by the kidneys. This is where you want to step in. Your kidneys are your garbage collectors. They're the ones that take out the garbage for you every day. They're your garbage men. Okay, that's your garbage service. So this is where you don't want to overburden the kidneys. If anything, that would be the thing that I am most worried about, is overburning the kidneys. So I would step in there, I would do an enema, or I would take something to help me go, like magnesium oxide that will help you go. Okay, you can't take it every day, but something like that, or senna, okay, or cascara sagrada, okay, something like that, that's gonna keep you regular. Or even like, they have certain teas that keep you going regular. That's what you want to do. You want to keep those toxins moving, and you want to help your kidneys filter that junk out. You certainly don't want to sit there and make everything dry and make yourself dehydrated and keep those toxins in further. You're going to do yourself more damage. Okay, so if you have ever watched any of my videos, and I know I go against so many things, but I can tell you, I've been doing this 14 years. Never once have I ever used a binder. Right now, I am currently simultaneously on 2 different parasite cleanses. I'm taking a parasite, one type of parasite cleanse in the morning, and I'm taking another one at night. And every day I am moving that trash out. Okay, so I have never in 14 years ever taken a binder. I have never suggested a binder to anyone doing a parasite cleanse. I do not believe in binding that stuff. We are the only country. I have friends in Africa, I have friends in Costa Rica, Guatemala, all over, and they all do parasite cleanses. They will go to their doctors going, oh yeah, you definitely have parasites. Here you go. Here's 10 different bottles of parasite stuff. And that you take all these pills. Not once do they give a binder with that. Okay. What I believe binders are, okay, is a parroting effect. If you have ever heard me talk about the parrot committee, one person, how if you have a whole bunch of parrots in a room and one parrot says, Polly, want a cracker? The other parrots will mimic it and say, Polly, want a cracker? I say it's the same thing. This is a parrot effect. Someone somewhere started saying you need to use a binder when you're doing a parasite cleanse. Somebody heard it, somebody repeated it, 500 people say it, and just because 500 people say it does not make it true or does not make it safe, okay? Even doctors will prescribe, for you, fenbendazole, whatever that you can get, okay? they will not prescribe a binder. Okay, so for me, I cringe. I just cringe every time somebody's, oh my gosh, with the binder thing, So that's kind of crazy. So please, if you watch this video, if you've never seen me before, I know I may sound crazy in some of my beliefs, but this isn't rocket science. This is very, very simple, logical things that if you think about it logically, it will make sense to you. They're trying to make it rocket science. Number one, to confuse you. Number two, it makes them money. Every time, it started with one binder. You use this binder. Well, after a few days, you need to change to a different binder. Then you should use 2 or 3 different binders. No, it doesn't. If you look at these logically, if you really look at these logically and what they are created to do, okay, chlorella, okay, you're moving heavy metals at the same time that you're going to be moving No, you want to get rid of those heavy metals with the parsley and the cilantro and the chlorella way before you ever do a parasite cleanse. You don't want to be doing it while using it as a binder and trying to move those. Oh, you're going to feel horrible. Okay. You don't want to use zeolite powder. Okay. You don't want that dry zeolite is very dehydrating. You want to be sure and take that on its own. Okay, and use it on its own and detox with that. You don't want to use it as a binder. Bentonite clay, same thing. Your bentonite clay really removes heavy metals, especially if you use it as a foot bath. You don't want to be moving metals at the same time you're moving parasites. Again, you're going to feel like death warmed over. Okay, activated charcoal. Okay, not only does activated charcoal stop diarrhea effects, but it's supposed to help with like food poisoning, other different toxins, not parasitic toxins. It's supposed to help with other toxins. And it's a very drying substance. And if you use it for long periods of time, not only does it kill the bad bacteria, okay, in your colon, it also kills the good bacteria. So please, guys, if you hear me, please stop having parrots sitting there telling you to take a binder with a parasite cleanse, because it is absolutely not needed. We're the only country that's crazy enough to do it. Okay, so there you go. Stay happy. I'm going to try to keep you sane and logical and healthy. I come at you every single Friday at 6 p.m. Standard Mountain Time. And 1 hour after my videos hit on YouTube, we meet over on TikTok Live for TikTok Talks. And we usually go 1 or 2 hours and we do mini consultations. We're going to do that this Friday, mini consultations. And we talk about all sorts of stuff. And we normally discuss what has been discussed in this video if you have any questions about it. So see you next week here or see you there. But please join me and I'm going to make your life a little bit more healthier.